Welcome to Your Soul's Transformation Podcast. I am your host, Dimple Bindra. Today, our topic is about why do we have negative self-talk? Negative thinking has been killing humans for centuries now, especially if you don't catch it. Sometimes your negative self-talk can be a cause of your depression. It can come through in your mind because of you having anxiety issues, or you going through relationship problems, or even if you have weight gain problems, which means you're overweight. And negative self-talk can also be a part of your life because of your past parenting. Yes, parenting. Your mom, your dad, all the words you have heard since you were a child, or maybe your aunt, your uncle, your teachers, your friends, all the words that you heard about yourself can cause you to now, being an adult, having negative thinking, because they can contribute it because it enters into your subconscious mind, and that becomes a program that's running on the back. So we also know, research has also shown that negative self-talk can be because of not addressing a relationship problem, or having poor health habits, also maybe spending too much time alone, not asking for help, or failing to practice self-care, and denying your negative self-talk experience. Sometimes I know when I talk to my clients and I'm like, what are you thinking? I'm not thinking anything. I'm like, oh, it can't be because you're thinking so negative about yourself. No wonder you have all these anxiety issues. You see what I'm saying? And also, the biggest cause that I have found, one of the biggest reasons is you're probably surrounding yourself with negative people or toxic people that's causing you to think negative. So there are multiple reasons why we as humans think negatively. And once you know your cause, then you can address it. And how do you stop negative self-talk? So before we go into the how to stop negative talk, I also want to tell you about the effects of negative self-talk, right? Just on top of my head, negative self-talk can actually cause you to feel anxious. It can cause a lot of headaches for you, especially migraines is related to a lot of negative self-talk. Negative self-talk can also cause back pain because it affects your first chakra. And if you don't know about chakras, keep listening to the podcast. So your first chakra is your root chakra, which is your energy center in your body. That can also cause back pain, sciatica, any sort of leg issues. And the effects of negative self-talk, the next ones are perfectionism. If you're thinking that you gotta do this perfectly and only then things will go right for you. All right, you know what? You're thinking too much. You're thinking too much, and you may be thinking negative about the task that you have on hand. Limited thinking is the second one. So if you have very limited thinking, you're not thinking out of the box. You just go and do the things that you think is right, never getting someone else's perspective, never showing your stuff or your projects to other people just because you're like, oh no, this is good enough, No, that can also be one of the effects of negative self-talk. And then physical symptoms. Negative self-talk can have issues in your hormones, which means your biochemistry and your hormones will start fluctuating just because of you thinking negatively. And this can also have digestive issues, especially any GI related issues. So if you have constipation, diarrhea, some sort of IBS or Crohn's disease, you need to ask yourself, am I thinking negative? Why? Because it affects your third chakra as well. Anything that affects your first chakra, which is the first energy center in your body, affects the second, which is your sexual energy, affects the third, which is your third chakra. So when we know that we have these effects with negative self-talk, we obviously have to do something about it. All right, I'm still not done with the effects of negative talk. All right, so the next one is impact on your relationship. And this is a big one. Basically, when you are thinking, let's say, negative about your partner or negative about your mom or your sister, obviously you will have issues in the relationship with them. You are not seeing things clearly because you're constantly looking at their flaws, or you're constantly seeing and judging them for their actions, and that can impact your relationship. You may be unhappy in your relationship because of your own thinking, and because of your thinking you may communicate poorly. And if you have children, man, that's going to impact their relationship too. So you are basically putting yourself out there in a very negative way. And let's talk about energy, okay? People who think negative have negative energy. As simple as that. And I'm big on energy. And I know for a fact that if you want to vibrate on a higher level, you better check what you're thinking about yourself. And lastly, what other effects do you have of this problem is your career, your job, the job that you want to do, and you just can't do it because you're thinking so bad about yourself. So I hope that you're convinced that these effects can really kill you. All right, so how do we change them? I'm gonna talk about the 3 C's. The first, third C, which means the first C is, and pardon my English is my second language. The first C is change, which means every time you think about a thought, you gotta change the thought. And let me give you an example, a real example that I have used for many years, okay? I used to hate my severe cystic acne, which caused my scars on my face, all right? I used to hate it. So every time I would go in the mirror, I would tell myself, oh my God, I'm so ugly. Oh my God, I hate my skin. Oh my God, I don't like the way I look at myself. So I used to just go out there and put all these makeup and foundation and creams and just to hide my scars. And sometimes even my hair, I used to hate my hair. Like my hair is curly now, but I used to straighten it, spending like $100 a month that I didn't have on my hair. Yeah, that's how bad it was. Anyway, I've changed a bit, okay? So how do you change the thought? This is what I started doing when I understood that I am not accepting myself because of my negative thinking. So I would go ahead and change the thought to, I am beautiful. Looking in the mirror, I love my scars. So instead of me saying I hate my scars, I would say the opposite. So first step in your 3C is change your thought. Whatever thought you're saying to yourself that's not serving you, change it to something that will serve you down the line. So in this example, it is, I love my scars. So you can apply the opposite to your thought. So change is the first one. The second one is commitment. Commitment to the change of the thought, which is, nope, I'm not gonna believe this thought because it's not serving me. For example, let's take it to women who are overweight. You go in front of the mirror, you look at yourself, and you're like, oh my God, I hate my fat around my belly. Nope, change it. I love